All right, I'm back, and we're gonna continue ahead. I don't know why that's not. Little drawing app. Every time we click, we're gonna leave a circle of that color. We're gonna props. This will end up being something that looks a little bit like this, right? We'll have our actions in a separate file. We'll have our reducers in a separate file. We'll have our store in its own file. Component, and maybe I'll even make a components folder, but probably not necessary here. And we'll make our index.js look like what we're more used to. And I'll React. We'll turn this into a more traditional React app that doesn't have all its code on one page. I think what I'll do is just first make an app, and then why don't I just go ahead? We'll say store, and you know what? Let's do something I like to do. I didn't do it GitHub, but I'm gonna go ahead and make a redux folder, and in my redux folder I'll put my store since we only have one reducer, and I'm gonna say actions. And you know, we could also have a thing called action types. That's very traditional as well. So we've got our app, we've got our store, and so we're gonna make that circle be a component so we can use it not only to draw the one that's on our mouse, but the one that's on everything else. So index.js, all this stuff will go to our reducer. So we'll have our initial state, and we'll have our reducer. Oops, toggle that back. And we're gonna export this. And on our store, we're gonna bring this and this. These things will go to also import my reducer from, let's see, we'll have to go out. No, we don't have to go out. We just say reducer. And we're going to export our store. We're going to need that store, but why don't we just take this stuff? We'll take our actions and put them where our actions go. And we'll export those. And so we can bring those into our app where we're going to need them. But first, let's get our app is going to be all this stuff. And that's looking a lot more like what a React app is supposed to look like. So we'll put these in app. And then we're going to put in circle. And circle is just going to be a stateless functional component that's going to take in an X and a Y and a color, right? So now in our app, we need to make our circle, and we'll say X is going to be X. Yeah, and we need to close this. There we go. So we've got our circle, except that circle is not imported. It needs to be, and also we need to import React. And we'll import circle from circle. Do an OK. So we'll export our default app and bring that in. So we'll import first our store from redux store, and we'll import app from app. In a default export. Oh yeah, so I need to, in my store, import that as a named export. Store is not defined. Let's see where that is. So that looks like that all makes sense. We're gonna get rid of this. We're not gonna need that. We're gonna get rid of this. Let's see, import also components. And we're going to take this circle style and put it on the circle. And now we're doing pretty good. I think we might even be cooking with gas. Yeah, because we're not using. See if we've got. That's my other one. This one, I think. Okay, I'm gonna have to redo this. And yeah, I don't know. I got all these things running. I'm not even sure what they are. Okay, so now we've got this green circle. And our mouse is no longer doing anything. We're not updating our store anymore. We're not getting anything from our store. But we can fix that. So in place of this store new code, second parentheses. So we're just going to call set new color and update mouse position. Now we're going to bring those in, and we're going to bring in also some values to the store, and we're going to receive values from the store. Connect. And this is going to come from React Redux. Bring in, we'll import set new color and update mouse position. We'll bring those in from our Redux actions. And we'll do those action types in a minute. Component is defined but never used. That doesn't make sense to me. What's that on? Oh, it's on index. Okay. So now the store is coming into our store. We're bringing the store into our index.js from our index.js. Right? This is wrapping our app, and it's a lot. Wrap this. And in our app, we can use this connect function to connect our app to the store. But connect is actually a higher order function. So connect is going to give things to our app. We're going to map state to props, and we're going to map dispatch to props. And you guessed it, those are also functions that we write. Map state to props takes in state and returns an object. Map dispatch to props takes in dispatch and returns an object. Call these from properties on our store method from our store. So we're connecting our app to our store, And now we'll get access to this dispatch. And what we can do is we can say update mouse position is going to be a function that is going to take in an object, and it's going to dispatch update mouse position with that object. And set new color is going to take in a color, and then we'll call dispatch with set new color. Passing it color. And now these two props and everywhere else in this app as those names that we set here. Set new color and update mouse position. This here is coming from up here, that's our action, just like before. And so we can say you can destructure those off of our props. The action wrapped all this, we're actually calling store.dispatch just like before. A little bit of a mind freak out, right? But pause the video. Sense if it doesn't ask me questions. Dispatching those values to our state, and we can in here from props. But first we have to map state to props. And so this here, we're going to say, we'll set x to state.x, y to state.y, and color to state.color. And now we're going to bring these in from props. We're no longer we're not even using this. So we're doing all the things we were doing before, but better, right? We're these little JS does this in some ways. State to props and map dispatch to props. Takes a while to wrap your head around this syntax, so go back, watch the video again if you need to. I'm just going on click method, and this is going to call this dot add circle. And what we'll do is add circle. Is going to be a function which is going to take in those very same values and we're going to make a new circle. So we'll say, and actually we can make a function. We'll say const new circle equals this dot create circle, passing in x, y, color. And then we'll create another action creator called add circle. And we'll pass in this new circle. And so add circle. And maybe we superfluous. Maybe what we should do is just say new circle equals. Actually, you know what? Let's do it because we're gonna make an ID here as well. All right, so we'll take in X, Y, and color, and we will. Let's return a new object with an ID of with just like the time in milliseconds, and our X, our Y, and our color. And that way, it's a good idea to have your functions be separate so you can kind of track things down later on. So we've got this new circle. We're going to create a new circle and we're action, which we need to make. This is not going to be the same as this add circle. And so I'm going to get this from my props. It's going to take that circle and it's going to dispatch it to our store. But you can see this isn't defined. This is a prop. I've defined a prop equal to redux. So we're going to make that. And you can see now it's going to say it's not exported from redux actions. So let's remember that's going to take in our circle and it's going to return an object with a type of add circle. And it's going to give us a payload of that circle. And now that's all good, right? Add to redux is assigned a value but never used. All right. Let's see. That's in app 41. We add circle to redux. Right? Add circle to redux. Add that circle when this add circle functions, which is going to be when we click. Add circle is going to return our state, and it's going to return we're going to set circles to an array called updated circles, which we're about to make. So I'll say const updated circles equals state.circles. So we'll set an initial array called circles, state.circles dot concat action dot payload. And hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. We're concatenating it with a new array that's got our action.payload, which is our new circle. So now we add a circle to that array, and we can bring in state.circles as circles. And now we've got circles here. And if we, nothing's happening. Refresh it again. Okay, so I did something wrong. So it should be that on my div, on click, I say this dot add circle. Oh, whoops. I need to call that function. What did I do wrong? All right, what am I doing wrong here? I got to remember what I'm doing wrong. End up making mistakes, especially when you're making a video totally off the cuff, as I'm doing here. Let's see what I did wrong. That update. It should work, actually. All right, so I'm not sure what I'm thinking here. Yeah, this doesn't need to be there. I just need to figure out why this dot add circle doesn't do anything on just firing, because I really don't want to have to do this video again. And I'm so lazy that I will type. So it's firing. So new circle equals this. Add circle to redux. Should add circle to redux. And oops. And you'll probably do this 100 times a day once you start doing this for real. In our action outright, and we're returning a type of add circle with a payload of circle. Let's go to our reducer. And let's see, when we get add circle, we're concatenating it with action.payload. Let's just see what updated circles is all about here. And here again, you know, this is the advantage of this sort of modular code. I've mentioned it before, is you can track what's happening. And so here we'll go like that, and we'll see. So updated circles. Oh, and now I'm not bringing. Everything else is working as it should. Date.circles. Oh, duh, I wasn't logging it out to the console. But that gave us a chance to sort of track through what was happening. So that's good. And the last thing that's left to do is to just render that out. So what we'll do is we'll say circles dot length greater than zero, and we'll say circles dot map. So we'll just check to see if the length is greater than 0, and if it is, we will map each circle into our fabulous circle object, passing it a key of circle.id. And that's why we made that, so we'd have a key, passing it an x of circle.x, passing it a y of circle.y, and passing it a color. That should be good. Oh, is that right? No, something's wrong. Oh, there we go. Why isn't that working? I think that should work. Not sure what I'm doing wrong here. Should map our. We've got the circles. Let's just make sure that length. So we've got the length. Let's just make sure. That's the problem. Those should be in this do with how I'm sending this value through. My action. I need to send circle.x, circle.y, circle.id, and circle.color. Yeah, that's a good. So we'll just map those properties into the appropriate payload. And now when that payload comes in, it'll, there we go. Uh-oh, 2 children with the same key. That's interesting. So my ID, let's fix that. In app, what I can do is, let's see, so where was that? Add circle. No, create circle. So right, that's because that's on there. And we'll just set that to time. And we'll change that. And now that should clear that problem up. I think that get milliseconds. So it worked for a minute. I think this should be that. All right, there we go. Now it's doing what I want it to do. I should probably just change that to, maybe that'll work just like that, new date. There's better ways to get unique IDs. Let me just remind myself here with the date API. Now I think. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want to date that now. All right, now that'll be better. Oh, not that. Syntax error. I could have sworn I just did that. Date.now. Okay. Gotcha. There we go. Try it again. One last time. For all you happy people at home. All right. There we we go. I want to get time. Didn't I tell you it's super important to know this stuff? Otherwise, you'll end up like me, needing to look it up all the time and wasting your time. All right, there we go. And now it's doing it. So there's your simple drawing app using Redux. I hope that helped you all a little bit. For now, I hope this does it. Holler at me if you have questions. Hit me up in the Slack.